we're talking about all the silly stuff that we did and fun stuff that we did while we were gone, but a lot of sad and amazing things happened last week. We just finished the show last week when the news broke about Michael Jackson's death. Yes. Tomorrow there's a memorial in L.A. It's planned, but, you know, what do you think of the way that the media's been covering this? Because, there, you know, one guy says, oh, it's bad, he was a pedophile, he was this, he was a bad guy.
Right?
And then another person says, no, this is a guy who gave an amazing amount to our world. So I'm throwing it out.
Peter King was the senator.
Yeah, didn't we have a clip? Because I have the quote.
Read his quote.
No, just to the quote.
The quote says, this is Representative Peter King of Long Island, New York. He says, let's knock out the psychobabble. He was a pervert, a child molester. He was a pedophile. And to be giving this much coverage to him day in and day out, what does it say about us as a country? I just think we're too politically correct. There's nothing good to say about this guy, he continued. But the bottom line is, would you let your child or grandchild be in the same room as Michael Jackson? What I want to say is...
He's a congressman.
He's a congressman, yes. What the thing about Michael Jackson, I would like to say that there was too much coverage of it. I mean, I could not... This is the coverage is Michael Jackson, and then the crawl is North Korea has nuclear weapons. Hello? It should be the opposite.
Right.
You know? But that's one thing.
Or the
only thing I would say about him, and, you know, he did settle a $25 million lawsuit with a family that the kid claims, but he was not indicted.
No.
He was never convicted. And so we don't know what actually happened.
He was acquitted the second time.
He was acquitted.
Yes.
But it's just suspicious if it's $25 million payoff. I mean, come on.
He was not brought up on charges.
I know.
He was acquitted.
Then why did he pay all that money?
Because he didn't want to go to court. It's why people settle out of court. Because one thing that happens is, as you, I don't know, probably nobody's ever sued you, but when you are sued, it is on you to prove. They don't have to prove their charge. You have to prove it. It's costly and it's a pain in the butt. You know, and so sometimes, you know, it's just easier to give them what they want and they'll go away. Sometimes it backfires for people. You know, you give them what they want and then they come back 4 years later. Then you learn how to say, you know what, I'm giving you this, that's it. But I've had this experience. I know why people
you have to at some point, like, decide, you know, your gut instincts, but we have to trust our judicial system, you know, to the extent that it's doing the job that it needs to. So, and I think it's also different after someone has passed. I mean, I think that we, you know, there's a certain amount of respect. I do agree. Our troops, you know, over the course of the 4th of July weekend made incredible strides in Afghanistan. That was like a secondary note. I think that there were things that really did happen in the world that maybe should have taken precedent, but I do think the moment was deserved to him as a person for his passing.
Also, too, you remember We Are the World. He and Lionel Richie wrote this song called We Are the World, which did an amazing job for all these people, brought attention to people all around the world and what they were going through.
So
this man affected everybody all over the country, the world, the nation. So it's a lot of coverage brought on that.
What is it, 20% of his money to charities that go to children. So, I mean, look,
you know, I like to separate the art from the artist. I think that we have to, we can hold two thoughts at once in our head. So on the one hand, he's a great artist, very original, very, very important to American pop culture. On the other hand, he has some things that were strange about him. It's like Woody Allen is a great artist, and he has also. And Roman Polanski is a great director, and he has also.
This is a man who
MTV and artists are definitely not perfect.
But MTV, he made MTV what it was. They did not have African Americans on their channel until Michael Jackson's, was it Thriller? That came on. It could have still been like that. So he broke racial barriers.
That's the artist that Joy's talking about.
I don't even think that's the artist. He broke racial barriers. So you could say it was the artist. I think you could separate that.
The artist who broke racial barriers.
No, that's the man who broke racial barriers as well.
Okay, well, let me talk about my friend for a second. My friend was Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
He was at the very first audition I did for Color Purple. When I told you, you know, I came out and Steven Spielberg had said there'd be just a couple of people to see, because Steven Spielberg asked me to come do my one-woman show, which I did on Broadway. He didn't tell me why I was coming there. He said, I want to see your show and I can't get there, so do you mind coming? I said, sure, because, you know, I wanted to be in Raiders of the Lost Ark. So, she's no fool. I wanted to run with Harrison Ford.
Smart.
And so I step out, and in this audience is Ashford and Simpson, Quincy Jones, I can't remember else, and Michael Jackson.
Wow.
And what year is that?
This is 83,
Okay.
2 maybe.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
So, for me, every big event that's happened in my life has always included Michael Jackson. Now, and to answer Mr. King's question, would you leave your children? Yes, I would.
You would
yes,
leave
I
your
did.
children with
I
him?
left my child with Michael. Yes. And I am going to err on the side of him not really sort of knowing the music or caring or just wanting to be out there or having something to say, because of course everybody has the right to say something.
Right.
But unless you know for sure, especially if somebody's been acquitted, it's probably a good way to avoid a slander suit from someone's family by saying, I think that this person did this. I think that this, not that's what they did, that's what they did, that's what they did, because clearly in court, it was not proved that that's what they did. So,
No.
so
Have
be.
to trust
I'm
the
just
system.
saying. I'm saying to Mr. King, be careful. Say how you feel, but don't make it an edict
Right.
because it's already been proved not to be
But
the
Michael,
case.
in one interview, does say that he thought it was totally appropriate to sleep in a
Yes.
bed. He was a 40-something-year-old
Yes.
man
I think
in
you
a
need to
bed
be
with a
wise.
child, which I think is odd, frankly.
just- you're
and if
being
I was
wise
going to
head.
leave him with my children, I would have a nanny cam on
Well,
him.
here's the deal. Here's the deal. Let me tell you about Michael, okay? Michael Jackson, from the time he was that big, did nothing but perform.
Right.
No life, no kid life, no nothing. This guy, sex is not part of his world. This is my opinion. I never believed that sex was part of Michael's world. So to him, hurting a child, he'd rather hurt an adult if he was going to hurt somebody. He would never hurt a child. This is the last person in the world, because to him, they were the only people that understood him. They were the
got
only
that.
people
I
that.
get that.
So I just wanted to put that out there because, you know, wherever he is, I hope he's dancing with Sinatra and everybody
I think
else.
that there's another point to be made, not about him, but just about pedophilia in general. And that is that a lot of pedophiles say that they're not hurting the child, that they're just, that they're
but
being
now that
kind
you
to the
link
child.
them back up.
Yeah.
That is not the case. I do not
You don't
believe
believe.
with Michael Jackson.
Well,
I
it's
do
interesting to
not
hear from
believe he
someone who
was
knows.
a pedophile or any of those things.
Acquitted versus
Yeah.
inappropriate.
But you know what? What's appropriate right now in this bad boy is that we go and come right back with more hot topics. That's just the way we roll.